Imagine diving for sea sponges and accidentally stumbling upon the ancient equivalent of a massive international shipping container. For a long time, historians figured ancient trade was a pretty boring, local affair. You grew some wheat. You traded it to the guy in the next village for a nice clay pot. Maybe a merchant brought some spices from a few hundred miles away. But ancient people definitely weren't placing international orders for exotic goods. They weren't running complex global supply chains. Then, in 1982, a single shipwreck off the coast of southern Turkey blew that entire idea completely out of the water. A local sponge diver named Mehmet Kakir was gliding through the deep, dark Mediterranean. About 150 feet down, he spotted something weird resting on the seafloor. He reported his find to archaeologists, describing the objects as metal biscuits with ears. Those metal biscuits turned out to be copper ingots, shaped exactly like stretched animal hides. The experts took one look and realized Mehmet had found a Bronze Age shipwreck. They named it the Uluburun shipwreck, and what they found inside completely rewrote the history books. When archaeologists started excavating, they expected to find a few local items. Instead, they uncovered a 3,300-year-old floating megastore. The sheer amount of cargo was staggering. They pulled up 10 tons of copper ingots. That is enough raw metal to arm a small ancient army. But you cannot make bronze with just copper. You need tin. Where did the ship's massive stash of tin come from? When scientists tested the metal, they traced it all the way back to Afghanistan. To put that in perspective, that is a journey of thousands of miles across rugged mountains and deserts just to gather raw materials for a ship sailing the Mediterranean. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. The ship was carrying logs of rare ebony wood from Africa. They found elephant and hippopotamus ivory. There were beautifully crafted Egyptian gold rings, Canaanite jewelry, and even a Mycenaean sword from mainland Greece. Most surprisingly, they found dozens of small amber beads. When chemists analyzed them, they discovered the amber came from the Baltic Sea in northern Europe. Think about that for a second. One single wooden boat, sailing over 3,000 years ago, contained materials from northern Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia. This changed everything we thought we knew. The ancient world wasn't a bunch of isolated, primitive villages barely surviving. It was a highly organized, interconnected global economy. Kings and emperors weren't just trading with their immediate neighbors. They were demanding luxury goods from the absolute edges of the known world. They had procurement officers, middlemen, and dangerous delivery routes just as complicated as anything we have today. It also explained a massive historical mystery. Why did the entire Bronze Age suddenly collapse into a violent Dark Age? Historians used to blame earthquakes or mysterious sea raiders. But the Uluburun ship proved that these ancient civilizations were totally dependent on each other. Their economies were dangerously tangled together. If those long-distance supply chains broke down, if the tin from Afghanistan stopped arriving, the entire system would crash. Which is exactly what happened. So the next time you track an online order crossing the globe, or worry about a shipping delay, give a little nod to the ancient sailors. 3,000 years ago, a bunch of guys in a wooden boat were doing the exact same thing, somehow moving Baltic amber and Afghan tin across the known world, just to make a really nice sword.